used to eat fast food, usually like top 3.
Shit, nigga.
Oh, you
Checkers?
A Whopper with cheese. A Whopper with
You
cheese.
talking about
Checkers
commercial?
was the shit. A motherfucking, what do they call this shit?
Are we recording?
No.
Yeah.
I got fired off 71st and Stony Island. Matter of fact, right over
I
by
think you're
you.
saying some funny
I
shit.
opened the Checkers on 71st and Stony, right on the train tracks. You know what I'm talking about?
You know it's a Starbucks now.
I
right?
know.
Yeah,
I know. It broke my heart. I ruined it. I stole like $1,000 in burgers
Yeah,
out of
keep
that
talking.
shit when I left.
Keep talking.
Niggas always want to steal. Have you noticed
I
that?
can hear him.
I had a motherfucking cookout.
I sound distant.
Let's say something.
Burger
Zach.
was the
I was
shit.
at Jimmy John's in Philly. I swear it was getting robbed when I walked in. It was me, my home. You met.
The nigga ass nigga.
Yeah, we went in one in the morning. We were in Philly, going to Jimmy John's. There's like 6 niggas in there giving away cookies and shit. I was like, yo, they robbing this motherfucker.
That's dope.
You want a sandwich? Like,
6
yeah,
niggas
you don't even
giving away
gotta pay for it.
cookies.
Fuck 'em.
All right, so this is a special episode. Yo, introduce yourself.
What? This is Cold Facts from the 80s.
Yo, y'all can call me Thousand, Southside Chicago, former New Yorker, back doing a guest appearance, cameo, all that shit.
All right.
We got Inspector J. I'm here to represent the strategy game.
All right, bet. And we got
Oh, you know
regulars.
me. It's AD all day in this motherfucker. Glad to see my ad bros here, representing, alive, breathing, doing well.
Can I say something real quick?
Say it.
So I've listened to a couple episodes, right? And you all are very articulate and, you know, smart and all that shit. I just want to say, since I'm here and since I'm quote unquote a founder,
Yeah.
I'm going to curse.
Curse.
I'm going to say nigga, motherfucker, shit, pussy,
Do what you
dick,
need
fuck,
to.
damn, whatever I want to say, I'm going
Big
to say it.
fuck and damn.
It's a very special
Whatever
episode.
happens.
BFB.
It's all good.
I like it to be organic.
Okay.
You know, I think about it like, you know, during the week, you know, we code switching all
We do.
week, right?
We do.
And we playing the game and wearing the mask. So here, I'm going to say what the fuck I want.
100,000.
Do what you need
All right,
to.
1,000.
All right.
No, but that was a good
Keep
intro.
it 1,000.
That was a good
You
intro.
were
Keeping it 1,000.
Keep it 1,000. That's it.
Like, yeah,
Fuck
great
it.
segment.
Not 100.
Nah,
1,000.
we're gonna bring you up to the time. You keeping it a band though.
A band.
yo?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
a
what the young
band,
people
yeah.
say.
The young people say.
You know,
A band
I like you
around
cut
a
that
I'm
out.
an
1,000.
old nigga. I ain't never heard that one.
Keeping it a
Keeping it a
band.
band.
1,000.
Nah, but I like
it.
what you said. You are the founder of Ad Bros. So, I mean, how did you come up with this? How did you get the original
Man,
click
you know,
together?
I think it just comes from what black people do naturally. Like we have these conversations, right? And black people, you know, just we all black. We all grew up with black folks, and there's always content, right? I'm sure individually we know cats who are fucking brilliant, but they never either had the platform or they were never in the right, you know, context to like really do what they were supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
Or what they could have done. Let's not say supposed to. So, you know, like we know comedians, we know motherfuckers who are mathematicians, we know entrepreneurs, we know all types of cats, right?
Right.
So just having conversations, and we had conversations that were born in a text message, and then, you know, just one day just talking shit. I was like, yo, this shit should be a podcast. The guy wrote up some shit, but then, you know, you as a younger brother, you decided to actually make it happen. So that shit was dope.
Yeah.
And here we are today.
I appreciate it.
Salute, brothers.
Salute.
You know what I mean?
All right, let's get into it.
I mean, I think you already introduced the first topic. Just go off the rip, code switching, because this is something that a lot of people do it every day. I feel like black men, we do it. Some women do it going to work. Sometimes you gotta switch how you address people, how you talk to people. I mean, like, how many times anybody could jump in? Do you feel like you gotta switch your code in a day?
I switch mines every day because I work at a tech company that's more of a consultancy, right? That does a lot of quote unquote quasi advertising engagement, but they're all about data, right? But yeah, I mean, if you think about tech and you think about that culture, it's a predominantly white male culture. And the thing about code switching, you're going to naturally do it because your goal is to make sure that you don't make these guys feels like, I don't know, they're intimidated by you or they're threatened by you. But yet they feel like they have to be smarter than you. So I have to code switch just to be able to communicate my ideas and thinking to these individuals.
It's interesting you say that because when we code switch, we're making everybody else feel comfortable when we're supposed to be integrating as like coworkers, people together. And it's weird because sometimes you minimize what you would do.
Well, let's talk about the code switching in relating to like what's going on with WPP right now, right? You think about Martin Sorrell, obviously created that ad network about 30 years ago about buying up all these other advertising agencies.
Well, holding company, not ad network.
Well, okay, ad network, holding company. He the motherfucker with the bag. Right? At the end of the day, right? But it is a network of sister companies, part of a holding company, right?
Yep.
So a guy like him don't have to code switch. He is the man. I mean, you know.
He owned the whole shit.
He owned the whole shit. So
Well, the higher you go.
But you know what, though? I think, not to cut you off, but I think that he does. Everybody has to play some sort of game.
True.
And code switching is a game.
It's a natural human thing.
So even though Martin Sorrell was rich as fuck, when he went into offices at Ford or when he went into offices at Apple or wherever the fuck, like, you know, he had to kowtow and play a game. Even though he made $30 million a year,
right?
It's like you sitting next to a motherfucker that has made $1 billion.
Yeah.
But you know, I think there's a big difference between tailoring your game for the conversation you're about to have and really just changing your presentation, your identity to survive in the realm that you're in. And I think those are two different things. If you're trying to acquire business or acquire money, that's different from trying to be survivalist in your environment. And that's almost like, are we taking the level of changing our spots, or are we just kind of like switching up what we say and what the storyline is? And I think code switch is more about the environment and surviving.
Exactly. I believe that you're actually changing your language. You know, there's a movie coming out starring Lakeith Stanfield. It's called Sorry to Bother You.
Oh, yeah, that shit is dope.
And it's all about code switching. It's literally about having yourself or changing your language to acquire success. People, white men, generally don't have to do it to that level. No. We have to become a totally separate person when you're in some environments as a black man, especially in corporate America.
100%.
You have to become a completely different human. You know, and it's been written about, I mean, hell, Fences was about it. Yeah. The poem We Wear the Mask is about it. You know, we wear the mask that grins and lies, that hides our teeth and shades our eyes, right? So we do that every day. And I think millions of people do it, and we've gotten so proficient at it, we don't even know when we're doing it anymore.
Right. I mean, but you mentioned a good point, AD. WPP, that's been a conglomerate for a long time. Well, let's talk about why he stepped down.
Because he loved pussy.
Well, yeah.
Because he's rich and then he loved pussy.
He's rich, he loved pussy, and if you're rich, you're not used to no.
That's true.
So
very true.
Exactly.
And so I'm happy he got fired. Fuck it. How long has he been there?
30 years.
30 years.
Since he started.
It's time to go.
Right.
But if for nothing else, just for innovation.
Just for innovation.
Just for developing other companies.
You've made fucking $30-40 million for the last whatever years. All right. You're done.
Right.
Yeah.
But isn't the question really why now as opposed to just why? Because it's not just him loving pussy and all that shit. It's also a big part of just how agencies are going right now,
right,
and where clients are going right now.
Yeah.
And are you the man who's equipped to lead that shift?
Probably
and if
not.
people don't think he is, then they have an easy excuse for why he needs to step down without even having to be about business.
Oh, guaranteed.
Totally.
They knew that he loved pussy in '87.
And they used that against him.
And even for him, like, he made like 70 million. Like, one year he made like 99 million in 2015.
Really?
We're talking about euros. And then in
Wow.
2016,
God
he
bless
made
it.
48 million. And advertising in itself is changing, and he has this old school mentality that they're saying like, yo, it's almost time to go. It's almost like you got to know when to leave the bar. Like, if you got the bar too long,
I love that saying.
people will remove you.
End of the day,
He's paid. He don't
I'm not shedding a
people
tear
get-
for the motherfucker.
So, all right. So one of the topics I had on the list I thought was pretty interesting because it's been happening a lot. So Sabrina Claudia is recently came out that she got criticized over racist tweets. So apparently she set up a troll Twitter account where she would insult black women and light-skinned Latina women. So yeah, I mean,
I heard Joe Budden and Maul was talking about this on their podcast. I have no clue who the fuck she is.
Well, I mean,
You know, I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to sound old.
oh no,
I am old.
personally, I don't know who she is either. But the point of the story
point
was
is what, trolls?
trolls and like, what do you do when you find out a beloved celebrity has a dark past? Do we give them a pass? Do we give them a pass and be like, oh, that happened years ago?
First off,
whatever.
we
cares?
we need to
even
get
know
off
them.
of this celebrity worship shit from the jump.
Word.
Everyone is a human. Everyone takes a shit. Everyone has their own faults. To be surprised that motherfuckers is like human,
Right.
that's our problem.
Like I think
You know what?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, not to cut you
No,
off.
go ahead.
I actually, when a motherfucker is too clean and too perfect,
You can't trust him.
it bothers me.
Yeah.
Like Obama, I love Obama first and foremost, but I want to find out that Obama did some fucked up shit
He
while he
smoked
was
cocaine,
in office.
brother.
Yo,
I want to find out 10 years from now that Obama has 6 hoes.
Honestly, I don't.
I
I'm the
do.
opposite.
Like that.
I'm the
I do.
opposite.
I think
Fuck
10
it.
I
years
don't want to
from
find out
now.
about him. Not about him.
I believe that I don't. I want to.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Maybe it's not 10 hoes, like nothing like that. But I just want to, like, I feel like Obama is almost so angelic. And
I believe that we can be smart enough to not do dumb shit when we have been given the gift that they have been given. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I just believe, like, you know, I understand Martin Luther King fucked around with mad women.
Oh, yeah, he did.
I get it.
Yeah.
And I
He was-
still exalt him.
He was the
Exactly.
most popular black
But-
man for a decade.
Can we not take the lesson of and apply it to us at this point and say, you know what? I am the president, the first black president, so let me not fuck around with these women for this period of time.
But you
Keep your dick in your pants just for that period of time.
Or let's take women out the equation.
Sure, please.
Right.
I would love to see just Obama just really getting down and just being super neighborhood, like in
I agree.
a way, like because he married to Michelle
Williams.
She from the low end.
Michelle
Yeah.
Williams.
You know Michelle probably can fight. She could probably shoot dice. I'll probably roll a blunt. I
Yep.
mean, she from the low end.
Yeah.
But you know what's interesting is that we're entering this era now, and it's probably the first time ever in which everybody has a digital record.
Yeah.
Every single person.
That's true.
And we're going through the first growing
By the time,
pains
by the way.
where, you know, over the next 3 or 4 years, we're going to see more and more public figures get famous and then find out what they did before they got famous digitally.
Right.
And right now, everybody's putting their arms up like, oh, I'm so shocked. And in 3 or 4 years, we're going to be used to it. Everybody's going to have some shit they did when they were in middle school, where they said some shit, or in high school where they said some shit, and everybody's leaving that trail. And so I think the question to me is, what happens 5 or 6 years from now when everybody got some skeletons digitally,
Right.
and everybody's done something fucked up, and it's kind of like, well, are we all going to be?
To your point, Inspector J, I mean, most people just gonna forget. Like, you can't remember the last thing that Trump said 2 days ago, can you?
That's a wild nigga, bro.
That's my point.
Trump, wow.
But that's my point of a troll. A troll say a lot of things to keep you engaged, knowing that the more and more shit that they say, the more you can't remember what they fucking said.
So it's gonna be a culture of just not giving a fuck.
It's culture. You just can't remember
We're gonna get
all the shit.
basically
they
we're gonna
say.
get
You
desensitized to it,
Right.
and it's just gonna be normal.
Right.
And I think,
But-
yeah, go ahead.
It's also going, like, all right, so y'all know Dante DiVincenzo
Yeah.
from
No.
he was on
The basketball
Villanova,
player.
right?
Yeah.
So, like, this motherfucker could go probably, like, not lottery, but like top 20. Now, his dumb ass on Twitter probably about 5-6 years ago when he was maybe 17, 18, if not.
Well, no, he's in
16.
college now.
So, yeah,
he's probably
so
13,
15.
14.
He was saying some shit.
Saying some crazy shit, like
Everybody
balling
say
on these
racist
niggas
shit.
like I'm Derrick Rose. He's a white guy.
Yeah.
First thing my mother does is call me a little shit. Yeah, your girl has a nice body, but her face is ugly as shit. Talking about faggot and shit like that. All on Twitter. When he was 14. And now he's going to be 19 going into the league. Just won a chip at Villanova. And the point is, should that affect this man's money is my question.
No.
Should that affect his ability to prosper at 21 and older is my
It
question.
shouldn't, but it could. It depends on the people who. Like,
I mean, it probably won't.
it won't, but it could.
It's in the news right now.
It won't. It could though.
Yeah, but it just might be a thing where like the paradigm shifts is like everything is so out there
Right.
and there's so much transparency that nobody gives a fuck.
So you remember when Isaiah Washington said those crazy things about T.R. Knight, right, on the set of
I
Grey's
remember that.
Anatomy?
Oh.
He's been blackballed ever since. Ever since.
But I don't think.
No, he has.
It
He's
could
been
be
blackballed.
It could be
Nah, I know he has.
generational too.
That's what I was
Definitely.
gonna say.
It depends on who's in power too.
And motherfuckers just might not like him, and like
Well,
forget about it.
as a black man, I have a theory that I call the gift of Trump. All right, and that means that this motherfucking idiot has taken us to such a low place that it has reset all standards of norm and action.
Yeah.
I love it.
You know,
I go with it.
I love Trump being president. Who gives a fuck?
it gives everybody else the fuck.
It lets you know where
He's the president
everybody
America
really stands.
deserves at this point.
Yeah,
It truly let you know where people stand.
It's just like what's my man Comey said. The great thing about Trump being president, and I said this when he first got elected, is that it's going to be so fucked up and so stupid, where all of this shit is going to burn down, and that'll give an
rebuild.
opportunity for something to
Start over,
to
maybe.
come from something better.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a black president after Bush. And Bush wasn't that bad in comparison to Trump.
So
now
it's a war.
Now,
Honestly,
war
I
now
disagree.
you might get a Mexican
Don't
as
forget
the next president.
motherfucking
A
Bush.
Mexican American.
Let's
Who
not
knows? I don't know.
let's not
Weapons
make
of mass
Bush
destruction.
normal. Bush
Weapons
still
of mass
killed
destruction.
probably 10 times more than anything Trump has done thus far.
I'm not denying that,
know?
but I'm just saying that in
Bush
his
is a
8
pain
years,
right
you had a president who was kind of seen as a bumbling kind of idiot,
Right.
right? We were in a war that
True.
fucking right.
He wasn't overtly fucked up.
Yeah. There was still a
solid.
level of respectability, at least, that
'Cause
he.
he's still.
I mean, because his dad was
Whereas
president.
this fucking
presidential.
clown
Right.
Yo,
He
is a
He
reality
also-
show artist.
it's nothing funnier
Let's
than
not
that
forget,
cat throwing
he
that
also
shoe at
got a
Bush.
shoe
That shit was
thrown at him.
hilarious.
The shoe at Bush.
But he dodged that motherfucker twice.
Twice.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. Yo, that shit was like, he fast. He hit that motherfucker. He dodged 2 shoes.
Yo.
And without no kind of like practice.
Yeah, but nigga, if I just took my shoe off and threw it at you right now.
You might hit me.
Yeah.
You might hit me.
Because first you got to calculate this
Yeah.
nigga just threw his shoe at
Yo,
me.
he was like, oh, he dodged it twice. And it go, yo,
And-
I give him props.
Yo, he had LeBron
And-
quickness.
But yet
Yeah.
again,
And he kept talking.
He kept talking. Yo, Trump did
That's
that?
PR training
Yo.
right
but
there.
it goes back to elevating humans to
Yeah.
beyond the level of humanity. Like the president is just a fucking guy.
Yeah.
Why
That's
are we
true.
elevating him and that office to something,
Because
beyond
humans-
what they are?
Because humans need somebody to follow. Because we're sheep.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of humans, technology, Inspector J, I think you said this too. Like, I mean, we're normalizing this digital footprint, which I was watching Vice News the other day. I don't know if you guys saw it, but they had this interesting topic in China, Sense Time,
Yeah.
which is basically their AI company, facial recognition. I think they've given out more tickets, arrested more people based off of this technology. I don't know how Black Mirror always makes it into this podcast, but this is basically
It's
what's
Black
coming.
Mirror. Yeah.
And so I guess my question, just throw it out there, how do you feel about the way technology is moving towards we're becoming more entwined with AI technology, face recognition, and we're giving up a lot of our freedom with it? China's basically proven that this works. So, I
Right.
mean, once you could prove
I'ma
in
let-
theory
it's-
that something works,
Let's,
I mean, it'll
let's
spread
get
to the
Inspector
masses.
J's point of view, but I got a point of view on that.
I do too.
Yeah, so I mean, there are probably a few different ways to think about this. So I think right now the way I'm thinking about it is really economically driven, kind of to begin with, because I think, and I was talking to AD about this before we even did the podcast, right? So many people right now are basically putting their trust in AI, putting their trust in technology. But all that stuff has to be built, and it's built with biases. And people are basically just assuming that because something is AI or something is automated, that makes it automatically better than if it had human intuition. But what they don't really think about is whether or not the bias that's built in is benefiting them or benefiting a different service. So we were talking about it from a financial standpoint. Like some people are investing in these robo-advisors, for example, and they're thinking that their financial portfolio is better if you have an AI judging it or running it. But it's like, well, is that benefiting you or the financial institution? And so I think as we think about all this stuff with technology going on right now, I just think a lot of it just has to do with people getting more intelligent about what is this thing ultimately serving. And if you believe that a certain technology serves a public good in such a way that it's more useful for the public good than for yourself,
Yeah.
you might be in a world of hurt later. But I think people just generally just need to educate themselves on how are these algorithms built, what do they serve, who do they serve, and I guess that's my overarching standpoint on it.
Well, I mean, look, and another thing we need to consider too, right? that a lot of people just don't know the historical, beginnings of what we call now the internet. The internet came from this project called the ARPANET, which was government led after World War II, right? And the whole intent behind that project was to create a worldwide surveillance technology that the government can use to spy on anybody, right? Especially because the rise of quote unquote communism, right? At some point, long story short, ARPANET became what we call the internet because this guy by the name of Stephen Wolf. He helped to privatize the shit with telecommunication companies and some tech companies that I won't name. And at some point, the privatization of the ARPANET becoming the internet was subsidized by the United States government, right, to basically privatize this shit.
Yeah.
And by turning into a business-making platform, it has always been about profiling people from day one. So this idea of what China is doing now in terms of profiling people,
it's not new, basically.
It's nothing new.
Yeah.
That the whole internet was set up with that premise in mind, and that's why I was telling you guys got to check out this book called Surveillance Valid. It talks about that.
I was going to say that we have willingly given away our privacy.
Yeah.
I was listening to Jeremy Rifkin the other day, and he talked about we talked about his book, two of them.
Love his book.
Yeah, and reading the Zero Marginal Cost Society, where he talks about how moving forward, generations will further just forfeit privacy, and that has started with the internet and started with its with Facebook and those sorts of platforms. Yeah. But AI will further that. But I also feel that AI can be a good thing. I believe.
It could be.
Well, it depends on who's modeling it and training
exactly.
it. As Inspector said, we have to have a seat at that table so that it won't be trained to be and carry the biases.
It's true.
Biases that come along with humans.
It's true.
Because I do believe that there is a super intelligence that will be far greater than what we could ascertain in our brain.
Yeah.
And that will hopefully then to start to say all of the biases, because I'm not talking about racial biases or even sex biases. Mm-hmm. Financial bias.
Yeah.
Why are we using plastics? Why are plastics not illegal at this point? Because oil is it's embedded in the economy of plastics. So the fact is that that's a bias that I would hope either base AI, super intelligent AI, or deep learned AI would be able to figure out and say, no, we're not going to replicate that moving forward.
But who's controlling the AI?
Well, I like that you said that it's going to be learning and moving forward, because actually something else that was in Vice was China actually started a company called Skynet. So basically, same thing.
They literally call it Skynet.
Yeah, the company is called Skynet.
It's crazy.
Shit.
Security cameras.
It's called Skynet?
Yeah, you could Google it, bro. Like basically, I'm just reading it off their website. The security cameras use facial recognition to identify each person. And basically, a description includes all your details, all your data, age, gender, clothing, color, all that stuff pops up, because in China, basically, when you're 16, you're given a national ID and all your data is storage. But I think that's important.
It's like the Social Security
because
law,
it brings us back to what Colfax was saying, and what our media guys always deal with and talk about is data. It's like once you have all this data stored, who has it? What are you doing with it?
Right.
Are you using it for good? Using it for bad?
It's all for profiling. I don't care what none of you guys say.
Profiling and targeting.
It's targeting. That was the intent of all this technology in the first place.
Yeah.
But at some point, you have too much data.
You do.
Yeah, like what is Cambridge
Analytica
going to do with 85 million pieces of individuals' data?
We sell it.
Do we sell it?
But okay, I buy it. I can't create what am I going to create a specific ad media?
Yeah, you can.
For each person, you can.
You can.
But you most likely won't.
No,
I'm not
that
going to
happened.
create 85 million as a creative director. I'm not having my team create 85 million.
You're not doing that. But Facebook did that.
Absolutely is doing
It's called dark
AI
ads.
can do, yeah.
No, it's called dark ads. They using all that profile data from Facebook. Cambridge Analytica literally created dossiers of all these people, and these guys sold that to different political guys, specifically the Trump campaign, and these guys create ads specifically for cold facts.
I thought they sold
I
to
just want
Russia.
to make an industry point really quickly because I think this is really important since we all here we ad bros and we talking about from an industry perspective, right? So Colfax said, as a creative director, I'm not going to have my team creating all these different units and this.
Oh, the team is gone. Oh, the creative team is over with.
Yeah.
Tell it.
But let's talk about the trend that we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
We used to see the offshore and the near shore and all that shit deployed for technology, right?
Right.
We're deploying it for development. We're seeing more and more of that shit for ads.
Right.
People in Costa Rica, people in India who are just making ads.
Yeah.
They're not even dealing with creative director. They're not dealing with nothing.
Yo,
you have your
it's
team
like
coming up with the overarching message. Then you got 30 people in Costa Rica who are just making the baseline. They're not even thinking about creatively.
They don't
They're just
care.
assembly lining the
It's
shit
just
out
pushing
of it.
out a message.
And that's
Yeah.
happening right now.
Yeah.
So if we think from an industry perspective, that ship has already sailed to a certain degree.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, look, display ads, that's how motherfuckers make money. Google don't make money running campaigns. They make money off selling search, which is the advertising. It's a display ad. Display ad has always made more money than campaigns. Campaigns are sexy, right? It's real sexy. But that shit, in the grand scheme of all this shit, they don't need that. They don't.
Yeah, man, and just from a targeting standpoint, like the shit gets really deep. Like you got like lookalike models where they actually create an audience that replicates you. So it might not necessarily be AD or a 1,000, but there's certain people that have specific characteristics, and they dig really deep to figure out, okay, this is not him, but these are people
Like him. Archetypes.
Exactly.
Personas.
And the thing about it is, like, human beings are not really that complex, right?
Nope.
It's like everybody really kind of fits into a category
Right.
or two. Like there might be some
Contextually-
overlap or whatever, right? But in all of the 8 billion motherfuckers on Earth,
Yeah.
it's probably about 25 archetypes. I'm just throwing that number
No,
out
you're about
there,
right.
But we all have the same motivators. We all have like certain things we like. We all fit into these buckets, right? So with all of that massive data and those different data points and touch points, like they can basically cut all that shit up, pull different cohorts together. You could basically say, shit, just from the fact that you got 6 brothers in here, right? We're fitting into an archetype, right? Everybody here is between 27 and 42
Mid-40s.
and fucking make X amount of money, do whatever,
We
travel,
all like
whatever.
Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah,
like-
we are. Yeah.
Wu-Tang.
It's contextually. like,
Yeah. I mean, you had Wu-Tang, you got this cohort of brothers. You had
J. Cole.
J.
yeah,
Cole.
it's like, yo, like
Geographically.
like motherfuckers in here are gonna listen to J. Cole. They might like Atlanta. They might motherfucking read Monocle magazine, right? Like
to
there's
Stack
all
Number.
these different things that this cohort has in common, right?
Right.
And yeah, if you produce a TV spot to target these folks, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
if you create a fucking collection ad on Facebook, you can hit 9 fucking buttons
Right.
in the interface and target all of
All of that
this
shit.
cohort in the
Yeah.
United States.
Yeah.
But
It's
I mean-
easy. It's smart as fuck. Actually.
That's an interesting point. When we talk about data, the number one reason why it exists the way it does and why it's so powerful, it just reduced the cost and effort to do shit.
Right.
So
Exactly.
we
Yeah.
have fingerprints.
Manpower.
You can always track somebody by their fingerprints if you wanted to, right? We've had that for decades.
Yep.
The ability to identify somebody by their fingerprints. We didn't even need the facial recognition to do that. But it reduces the effort and cost of tracking somebody down. But the thing that's crazy about it is, and this is why the reason why number one, it's not cool to not know shit. And number two, the reason why we can't let this stuff make us stupid. Right? Is because the real question is, as we go forward, what is going to be illegal? And that's the thing that is, to me, more important than, like I said, we've had fingerprints forever.
Yeah.
I mean, the last point I was going to make was I like what 1,000 said, but do categories and archetypes get dangerous? Because like
Yeah.
this Skynet thing in China is basically for fugitive apprehension. So eventually, I think right now it basically predicts if you're going to do a crime based on your archetype.
Minority
data.
Report.
Minority,
Basically,
yeah.
And they've arrested.
And that
I
shit
think-
is around for real.
I think they arrested 3,000 people
Yeah.
so far.
And you know how that type of stuff works, right? It works off historical data from police departments, real estate, and obviously, you know, the market.
Yeah, so
you could literally predict
so
how crime is
if
going to go down.
Pookie grew up in Brownsville and he went to PS fucking whatever 275 and he got
183.
arrested twice before he was 15, more than likely Pookie is fucked up and Pookie is gonna be in the prison by 21.
But that's why it gets dangerous. Because
and it drills deeper than that, because like now we have Pookie in some specific jail doing work for like $1 a day, and the big corporations still making money.
God
like
damn.
people talking about fucking
$1?
Whole Foods. Who you
buck?
think is doing that fucking the fucking groundworks and the fucking sharecropping and all that shit?
But I mean, but that's why I say the archetype gets dangerous. Because what if Pookie from Brownsville gets a chance to go to St. John's University
That shit
and
means
starts
nothing.
working in media?
That shit means yo, chance means nothing. Chance means you got
No,
somebody.
chance means a lot.
It does mean a lot.
So-
So when I say it
Man,
means nothing, chance is only as good as anybody who's gonna be your fucking advocate.
So real quick, though,
Somebody got to give you a chance.
so let me give you an example. I was watching Boys in the Hood last night. I never noticed this before,
Yeah.
but I don't know if you remember in Boys in the Hood.
I remember everything about the movie. Go ahead.
Right after they saw the dead body, and Ricky gave his ball to that dude, and they stole it.
Yeah.
And that dude looked at him and said, "Yo, little man, catch." I feel like that moment when he threw the football back to him gave him the mindset and made him want to be a football player. Unfortunately, Ricky watched the movie. But
Who ain't seen
That shit
Who
came
has
out in
not
92.
seen Boys
Yo,
in
you
the
ain't
Hood?
see that movie
Hold on. If you're listening to this podcast and you have not seen the Boys in the Hood,
from
you're crazy.
1991,
My Boys in the Hood.
92.
all right, so but my
Wait, that came out when you were born. Right?
I wasn't born in 91. I was born in 90.
That's the same year.
I know, right?
MC Hammer was out both years.
I was born in
man.
'87.
Damn.
Nigga.
That's the same year. Fuck out of
Anyway,
here.
but I'm glad you brought that up, because like the thing I was trying to say is I feel like that chance and that moment made a difference.
It did. But somebody got to be an advocate to give you a chance.
I think
That's
I
true.
think everybody who's had some level of success, especially if you're from, an impoverished
Inner city.
background, inner city, whatever the fuck. I think everybody has to have either a moment or a couple moments or person who basically shows you that like this ain't it.
Yeah, true.
And I know for me, for example, like I had a teacher in 4th and 5th grade, and she made a fucking world of difference to me. And she let me know it was a lot more than the South Side of Chicago. So,
I think for me, it was just so much bad shit going on around me, and motherfuckers wasn't advancing. I was like, yo, there gotta be something else.
You're a hopeful motherfucker. That's dope. Yeah. I mean, you think about it.
Like,
You
this
you
can't
had
be
hope.
it.
I mean, what about you,
God damn it.
Colfax?
Nah.
What about you, Inspector J? Like,
I mean, my whole
What was-
story
what-
has been given a chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Coming from the South Side of Chicago,
Talk that
like
shit.
Thousand, I was literally plucked and provided an entree into advertising. I could have. There is an entirely different dimension where I was put into the Chicago juvenile justice system because I got caught doing some wrong shit, and the person that caught me said, we're not gonna go that way, we're gonna go this way. And this
deep.
way ended up being entree into a black-owned ad agency, at the time the largest in the city.
I work for your ad agency, by the way.
Worked for the one I started after I was at the one that I started at.
True.
And when I got to that ad agency, there was a gentleman there that I ended up working for that was already doing things in Chicago that I respected, that everyone in Chicago respects, like Don C and Kanye and Virgil Abloh, all looked up to him. And I get to work for that cat. So now I am intrigued. That's the moment where Ricky gets the football back, right? In Boys in the Hood. And thus, I then go into various opportunities 20 years later, having started my own shop and sold it, to which AD worked at and so forth, and had all these other opportunities. It all started with the fact that someone said, little nigga, you're not going to go to Double Lee. You're going to go up here to Michigan Ave and work in this shop, even if you got to scrub the toilets.
I like that.
I ain't
Chance.
following. I ain't following that. Nah.
What about you, AD?
Yo,
What
what
was
you
your
have to
chance?
say? I mean, I got nothing to say. That shit is
I ain't
dope.
following that,
All
man.
right.
It's killer.
Nothing else.
Yo, can I say?
Go ahead, B.
Yo, Koufax. Like the last time I hung out with him, I found
He's
some
the oracle.
amazing shit.
He's the
Like,
oracle of this group.
He's the
This
blueprint.
He's the blueprint. He's the oracle.
Yo, he skipped kindergarten. You know that.
My ass was still taking a nap.
He did.
This nigga skipped the motherfucker.
It was a joke that we had from.
I appreciate that.
So, all right. Yo, man, that's a great way to end it. Got my
so-
mouth
It's
full.
the OG.
honest,
It's the
man.
OG podcast.
All right, join us next time.
Never
man.
ran,
Appreciate
never
you joining
will.
us. What was?
Hey, no soft talk when it comes to telling the truth.
All right,
Salute.
That's how we got to end it. Salute.
Ad Bros Forever, dude.